Subscribe to our YouTube channel and press the bell icon to get the latest updates.
I'm with Dr. Thomas Isaac, the Finance Minister of Kerala from Alappuzha constituency, which for the rest of us in India is a bit of heaven with its beautiful greenery and its backwaters. But of course, Dr. Isaac is not contesting from Alappuzha this time because of some complicated CPM rule that, if you have more than 2 terms, there is a limit and you cannot contest. But nevertheless, we're at ThePrint. We are lucky to have him here. Dr. Isaac, welcome to ThePrint.
Yeah.
So we are in this beautiful house in a place called Choonadu, which is between Kollam and Alappuzha, and I've happened to take a few minutes away from his campaigning. So Dr. Isaac, my first question to you is, how is this election different from any previous one?
In Kerala, power alternates between the two friends. Never a political front which is in power has won the election consecutively. But this time the spell is going to be broken.
Are you sure?
Very sure. Left is going to be back in power again. And that opens up a lot of possibilities. Because our agenda has always been disrupted by the fact that after 5 years you go out of power. When you come back again, many of things you said must have become sour and cannot be now carried forward.
Right.
So I think Kerala is in a very important juncture of what I would say a paradigm shift in development. We have always focused upon redistribution, but our economic base has been very weak. And now this redistributive strategy of development cannot be sustained unless there is a robust growth in the economic base. And now we are halfway through a strategy of totally transforming our economic base into from a low productivity industry, traditional industries and so on, to a high productivity regime. And this is only halfway through, and another term in office will see that Kerala is transformed.
Tell me something, when you say that you need to transform this and you talk about paradigm shift, so what is it that you're needing to transform, and how do you expand the base for all the projects and for all the the ideas that you're floating?
Now, because we have so far focused upon social sectors, there's heavy expenditure in education, healthcare and welfare. We do not have sufficient resources for infrastructure development. So we are chronically deficit in infrastructure. Now that continues to be the situation even now. But what we have done is we have created a new financial institution, something like the development financial institution just passed by law in the parliament. We enacted such a law in Kerala, KIIF-B, and
that's your baby.
That's right. And stunning, we are now initiated 60,000 crore rupees infrastructure projects, which includes internet connectivity to every household in Kerala, a new transcript line which will enable us be power free from all power shortages till 2040, revamping all our roads, schools, hospitals and so on. This is a very simple model.
Just let me I'm going to tell my viewers that KIIF-B, which stands for Kerala Infrastructure Board, right?
Investment Fund Board.
Okay.
Now what this is we have taken the most projects which will have to be given priority today and came to around 60,000 crores rupees. So this institution, we gave the mandate, you borrow and construct it. And every year we give you money. It's a kind of annuity payment, but it's a growing annuity, half our motor vehicles tax. So they are just doing that. They are borrowing on the strength of the future income flow this institute will be getting and investing in infrastructure. Very simple model. And
So who is borrowing? The government is borrowing?
no, government doesn't borrow. Government cannot borrow. It is this corporate, body corporate.
Okay.
See, all corporates borrow,
Yeah.
and there is no constitutional bar on the doing that. So we have created a corporate institution which on the strength of its credibility, efficiency and so on, make this huge borrowing from the market. We have done this.
Kerala's communists are borrowing from the market.
Of course, we went to London Stock Exchange to ring the bell. We are beating the corporates at their game. Let me put it that way, a simple way. Now, look, in the last 30 years, the central government has fashioned a whole number of new financial instruments so that it becomes easy for corporates to mobilize resources. So we have created a super efficient body corporate, and they have just utilized these instruments to borrow, and borrowed. It's successful.
So whether it was a Dr. Manmohan Singh's, the Congress government or the Narendra Modi government, you are working together on this particular thing.
No, they don't like it at all. One, they never thought it was possible.
Who doesn't like it?
Central government.
The Modi government doesn't like it.
No. They are of the opinion that state governments don't need to do all this. You leave it to the corporate bodies. They will borrow and construct you all this. But we don't want that. So they don't like it. But they thought it will never take off. So they were keeping silent. But now this has become a reality. The roads are a reality. Your transcript lines are a reality. So now they are very upset about it. So they are questioning the legal basis of doing this. They are sending CBI, income tax, and enforcement directorate to examine. I don't know what they want to examine. You see, when the income tax people came, we told them, here is the password. It's completely online business. You examine from sitting from your office anything you want. No. They want to come and make a show. 15 people, the commissioner himself, and examining papers and so on.
No, but what are they examining? So explain to me. So I went to this government girls' school and also this was in Trivandrum, and I went to a hospital in Pulanur.
Punalur, fantastic hospital. Can you imagine it's a Taluk hospital?
I cannot believe it that it's a 10-story hospital and the budget was 68 crores. They've spent 66 crores to build this amazing hospital. The superintendent, Dr. Shahir Shah, he showed me around. But how does that happen? So explain to me how this hospital in this taluka could be built. So what did they do?
I told you, when this government came to power, the first budget itself, we did some homework. We made an assessment of what type of infrastructure are immediately required. So we decided all tertiary sector hospitals, they will be upgraded. All schools will be upgraded. Then roads and so on. So then these are announced. KIIF-B borrows, and they cannot give it to government. They have certain their special purpose vehicles who will tender and implement them. And some of the hospitals and so on, Kerala is slightly different. There is a big, joining to the hands of the officials and people. The Punalur hospital you spoke about, I have been involved in that hospital for last 10 years. I get involved in very interesting experiments. This particular doctor you spoke of is a marvelous human being. So he was doing a whole lot of experiments with healthcare, with participation and so on. So when this opportunity came, he immediately jumped in and he got what he wanted. Say for the universities, we have asked the universities, look here, come, take whatever money you require. Make one department the best in India. So Cochin University came, they said, we want the state-of-the-art lab, 240 crores rupees. Yes, take it. make the best lab in India and do what you want. So if you ask, there is also initiative from below. I mean, those who are willing to
People want to
and so
improve their lives.
Absolutely. So
But then you are the communists are then catering to the middle class. I could accuse you of doing that, right? Instead of limiting yourselves to the poor and the underprivileged and people on the ground and uplifting them.
and that's a result of our success. You don't allow anybody to get mesmerized into poor. We immediately come, have some safety net, support system, and so on. So this polarization, which is characteristic of many places, is not there in Kerala. Instead, we have a huge growing middle class. Those who have moved upward because of, say, educational attainment. They have moved upward. Even K.R. Narayan from become the president of India from Kerala. Now that is one. Two, lot of people, when the poor people have gone abroad to work and they bring back money, remittances, then commercial crops were very successful venture till very recently. So a huge middle class has come up. So I would say Kerala has 30% very poor people still. Though the basic needs are met, they are very poor still. 40% I would say rapidly growing middle class whose expectations are very high.
They may not be communists though, they may not vote for you.
Absolutely they are not communists. But they have a radical past. Kerala middle class have been very radical. So this also have some lineage to it. But their expectations are different. And they think left has no program to meet the standard. For example, they want very quality jobs for the children. Left is where they say very good in distributing the cake. They divided the cake and equally to everybody. But they say the left do not know how to bake the cake. So now we are telling them, no, we have a program to bake new cakes for you. You want quality jobs? Here is KIIF-B. We mobilize resources and we'll get what you want. So in fact, the poor in Kerala, total social security. I mean, you look at the crowd in the meeting, how they were responding to everything. Not many middle classes around, so poor. So they are happy. And to the middle class, we are saying, here is a program to meet your expectations. So we are doing a social engineering of having a firm block of poor and the middle class. And that will be the basis of Communist Party in Kerala. That's the agenda.
So how are you different from West Bengal? I mean, Bengal lost, the left in Bengal lost 10 years ago. But what is it that they should have done better?
They should have realized, I think, I'm not the one to comment on West Bengal, but strategically I think Bengal was the eastern headquarters of Indian corporate power and so on, industrial development, big metropolis. But in the post-independence period, the Marwari capital moved away from Calcutta. Calcutta increasingly became backwaters of industry, so it is getting seeding, and left came up with agenda for industrialization fairly late, and they tried to make up the time lost by hurrying too much without carrying entire population along with them. Maybe, I don't know, but we have been very careful. We have been so far concentrating our social welfare. Now, because of success of social welfare program, a middle class has emerged who demand quality jobs, better facilities and so on. So now we are fashioning a strategy to provide for that. So the social support for the left remains, but in a different way. Earlier it was all 80-90% poor, but many of them have become say middle class. Now even the poor are highly educated. They want quality jobs. So for the present generation of the poor, they are happy with social security. But the next generation, they want something different. So we have fashioned an agenda of development, regional development. I think that is very, very important.
So last couple of questions, Dr. Isaac. You're fashioning a new Kerala. But tell me, you are Dr. Isaac, so you're Syrian Christian. There are Hindus in your party. Pinarayi Vijayan, I assume he's an atheist, but at least he's from a Hindu family. Then you have Muslims. But how do you deal with the BJP, which is sort of promoting itself as which believes it's a Hindu party?
If you take the social basis of Communist Party in Kerala, majority come from Hindu community, and that too from backward and scheduled castes. That is a social basis. And what has happened is that we are very weak in the minority communities in Kerala. It was not so. It was very different earlier. Large number of people from minority communities were in the Communist Party leadership. But what has happened over time is because of the ill-famous anti-communist struggle of 1959, there has been a break with this organic link. Now, how do we address BJP? Now, Kerala Renaissance has been one of the most radical renaissance in India. So, the idiom of ideal of Kerala Renaissance is doesn't matter which religion you belong to, as long as you're a good human being. That's the dictum on which I think whole Hindu ethos of Kerala has been built.
So whether you're communist or not.
Yeah, very communist or not, if you're a good human being. And Guru, Srinarayana Guru, didn't mind even if you're a rationalist. Some of his most ardent disciples were rationalists. So it doesn't matter. I am certain he will not consider me an outsider being a non-believer. It doesn't matter to him as long as you're a good human being.
So how do you deal with the BJP?
Now how comes BJP? BJP which says if you want to be a good human being, you have to be a Hindu. that does not gel with the ethos of Kerala, yeah. That's why they are so isolated. They are not able to make a breakthrough in Kerala. It's not our strength alone. It's the strength of Kerala's secular tradition.
Dr. Thomas Isaac, the dusk is falling on Choonadu. This is truly a piece of heaven on earth. Thank you so much for your time, for speaking to ThePrint, and we wish you and your party all the best, even though you're not contesting the election.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Jyoti.